So when I talk about harnessing the revolution, what I refer to is, especially at the senior levels or the ownership level of an organisation, being on the front foot with respect to the mindset you bring to the challenge that disruption brings to business models. So as professional services firms, there are particular trends and technological revolutions that are occurring, and the decision makers need to be aware of, be knowledgeable about, and be thinking about strategies they can implement to be able to take advantage of that, to have a mindset of optimism and abundance on how we can take advantage, rather than being aggressively defendant of, well, that's not going to impact me, or we're sort of in some way immune from this impact. So when thinking about strategies on how to harness the revolution, senior managers can think of what they actually have to work with. So they can look at their workforce, the types of people that they are employing to perform work on their behalf, and they can start to selectively choose individuals that have a creative, opportunity-driven mindset to influence the way in which work is done. Secondly, they can look at the environment in which they work, so their office space, how they conduct meetings. Are they standing meetings? Are they walking meetings? Or are they the traditional sit around a board table and an hour later we've finished whatever we were talking about? So the way in which work is done and the environment and the context around work. And the third is to actually reskill from the top, to reinvest in senior management capabilities to be digitally literate, to understand the major technologies that are running through. What is machine learning? How does it impact artificial intelligence? How does that potentially run into the way in which I can deliver my services? So that they're knowledgeable such that they can start to identify activities within their firm that they might be able to leverage. So when you look at how you can put this into play, how can you harness the revolution? One of the challenges is the riskiness of it. Like, if I go down this path, am I going to risk the organisation? And you can overcome that by taking small little bets. Small little tip into a marketplace to see what their reaction is and to see what the customer feedback is. This is the lean startup, agile development space that comes from the entrepreneurial world, but it's applicable to organisational systems to drive new product development. So if you're in a professional services firm, you're thinking, well, how can I actually play in this disruption space? You look for little market niches that aren't being serviced. And I'll give you one example because I'm across it. Like early stage fintech businesses, all right? Pushing boundaries as to the way things are, operating out of Stone and Chalk in Sydney, and the only tax advice that is being provided to them is R&D tax concession hounds that are trying to get business, right? But there's all kinds of advice that is needed around ESIC certification, around employee share ownership plans, and typically tax professionals don't operate in that space because it's small margin. But it's an emerging space, so try something new in there, try a new model, try a new service. Not a full service, this is the way we've always done it, but here's a little bit of advice that can be delivered in a different way. And give it a bit of a shot and see what the customer feedback is. You minimise risk by doing that. You make a bit of a play, you find out what works, what doesn't work, what customers are actually looking for. You can then start to impact into other areas of organisation with that type of feedback.